Hey everyone and welcome back. And wow, finally I'm doing the Yujiaoland Sazabi. It seems like every Resin modeler has or will have done this kit at some point, but it has taken me this long to delve into this kit for the first time. And that's because usually I avoid really popular kits, and this is probably in the top 3 most popular Resin kits ever. But hey, this is a commission, so a good excuse to finally get to it. And big thanks to Eric for this opportunity. Now, the kit comes in 2 boxes, the main body and the expansion pack. Technically, you can just buy the main body, but it's missing some detail parts for the legs and backpack, so you kinda have to get both to get a complete look. Here I got the newer 2.0 version. The difference is that the 1.0 is the more detailed and complicated version, whilst the 2.0 is a bit simpler, but it comes with extra metal edge detail parts. And to be very honest, the difference is not that obvious between the versions. You're only losing a few scribing lines here and there. Yujiaoland has been put on the pedestal as probably the most revered resin maker, so I had quite high hopes with this kit. But to be honest, looking at the manual, it leaves a lot to be desired. Flipping through the manual, you get a couple pages of the painting reference, but it could be more comprehensive because some parts you don't get a photo of for referencing. And then you get the assembly guide, which again feels a little bit too simple. Instead of showing the step-by-step assembly, they just show you a completed section and lines pointing at them to show which parts go where. But these are just minor gripes and inconveniences which you should expect when working with resin kits. The main thing to look for is the quality of the resin itself. And it is indeed quite good. Not the best of the best, but I didn't have to do too much rescribing to the parts. The details are clear and the parts fit really well. However, some of the pore tabs can get quite huge and in awkward places, so careful cutting and sanding are needed. The other area that requires the most work are the fuel tanks. Because they are entirely resin and comprise of a lot of parts, they become quite heavy, which means simply gluing the parts together would not be enough for long term. So for parts that are bearing weight, you can drill holes and insert metal rods into them. A good tip to align both parts is after drilling the first hole, apply some blue tack to the opposite parts and then lightly press both together, and you'll be able to see exactly where the holes meet together. Here I am sanding a part that had pore tabs at the corner of the parts, as well as some unevenness on the edge. So careful sanding is needed here to ensure you retain the shape of the edge. One thing about assembling Yujiaoland's kits is that, yes, the bigger parts will fit very nicely, but they come with a lot of smaller parts that have no connection points that you have to glue on after painting. So that makes test fitting a little bit more complicated. After the test fitting, it's time to clean the parts up and fix any imperfections. Most common things you'll find are shallow scribe lines. You'll need a scriber to deepen the lines, so when you do the panel liner, it will sink in properly. The second most common imperfection is mold misalignment. This happens when the 2 halves of the mold are slightly misaligned, creating a difference in sides where the 2 halves meet. Some sanding is needed to even out those lines. And the last one is about filling up gaps. Sometimes you'll find air bubbles, chip parts, or sink holes. You can either use super glue or UV resin to fill the gaps. Depends on how big the area is. After that, it's ready for priming. Now of course you'll need to wash the resin parts before this too, but I just didn't get to film that part. After priming, you'll need to do another round of sanding imperfections, as priming would reveal things that aren't as visible. For brighter colors such as the reds for this kit, do experiments using different colors for the undercoats, as you'll find that the color will change quite drastically. The most common undercoats for bright colors are white, pink, and even yellow. For this build I went with pink and grey, and it might not be very visible, but when spraying the same color, you create the natural tone separations, and it's very usable as a color separation. One thing that is crucial in the painting stage is masking, and we are so fortunate these days that resin kits are so popular that there are masking tape sets for a lot of the resin kits on the market. And honestly, they are such a time saver, saving dozens of hours on a kit like this, and especially helpful in smaller parts. So review time. First thing I would say about this kit is the design is just so top tier. I mean, this design is 10 years old now, and still, I can confidently say that this is the best Sazabi design. The design change is quite major, but it's not overwhelming. And I really like the reusing of the same design on the shoulders and the side skirts, making the kits more coherent. And as you would expect from Yujiaoland, there are a lot of parts and details to paint, especially if you're going after the official colors. So it definitely takes a bit of planning and time to execute. Two major downsides I have with this kit is that, one, there are quite a few parts that have no connections, primarily in the shoulders, that you can only glue on, and it makes it a bit sketchy during the assembly stage to put them on. Second is that in order to recreate the official photos, you have to source some third-party metal parts, as the kit does not come with any metal thrusters or energy pipes, which is kind of misleading to show the use of them in the photos, but not include them in the kit. Oh, and finally, if you go for the expansion pack, you will encounter some weight issues with the backpack being so heavy, leading to the kit sort of rolling backwards. So I would recommend locking some of the joints in the legs so that the kit doesn't roll, or alternatively use the support arm to lift the fuel tanks. But that's pretty much it, guys. Hope you enjoyed the review, and I shall see you in the next one.
you.